chicken.
Boiling chicken all day, and I could hear
My mom.
I hear my daddy over there slurping. You know, the juice ain't gonna do nothing for you, Kay. You need to eat something. But she would say, because, you know, I came knowing that part of my mission was to bring other beings here. So she would say, "You're not pregnant, is you, Kay?" And I would kind of sniggle. No. Not knowing what it takes to get no baby yet. And she would just say, "Let me feel your belly." And it would be all swollen, horn just rounded. Daddy would look. She ain't pregnant.
Pregnant.
She too mean. She don't want to share nothing.
Pregnant.
Yeah. But that's just to say that in my house, we were a family that very much practiced arts. Always have. In my family, my intimate family, my great aunt and uncle, we believed in a higher source. We believed in God, but Jesus was very, very scattered in my house. I was never pressured about religion. I didn't grow up in a household where we did routine Sunday going to church. Yes, I went to church. I grew up going to church through other family members, through classmates at school, and I was allowed to experience almost every religion there is, from Jehovah, Pentecostal, Baptist, you know, many others.
Now, by you being down in the South, being down in Arkansas, and not in the large cities like I grew up in Los Angeles and Kansas City and even St. Louis, right?
No, there was no Islam.
So you had no Islam, but these churches were still, even then, segregated. So even within the churches, there still was a
yes,
difference.
because all of the recessive people were Catholics.
Even down south, they're Catholics.
Even down south, they were Catholics. You know.
Seen a lot of that in the West, and here in Texas in the South, Southwest, there's a lot of Catholics.
So you got to understand that
in the North, I think, too.
KKK, you know, they are Episcopal, Catholics. So, yes, they very
they're coming
much
off of the Inquisition dudes.
Yeah,
what
the
are
Templars.
they? Templars.
Absolutely. You know, and then the ones that was doing the down-home religion, like Jimmy Swaggart, you know, those guys were on TV. You know.
Yeah, I used to watch old Jimmy, baby.
He did so much fornicating.
We call it tricking now, don't we?
They call it tricking. Now his son up there. You know?
Yeah.
But that was just to say that I came here already knowing, and just to be able, you know, not understanding why, you know, I always felt different, you know. Talked about energies and spirits being around you. If you were ever little and you were afraid to be in the dark, when did you come to that awareness? I can actually go back to the night that I felt that I was scared, and I actually started sleeping with some type of little night light on, and have not
deviated from that. Now, what's interesting, I go back to the red building, because that's where it began when I got here, right?
Yes.
And I was not afraid of the dark, but I was always afraid what was in the dark. Now, I know we made a statement. Right. So, no, I get it. I was going to ask you, because you said that you remember when you started having this feeling that you needed a light on. So, what happened?
It was when I was 12 years old.
12. That's pretty old, but that's at the change.
That's at the change. And my mother used to talk to me about the change.
Mm-hmm.
She used to talk to me about, that's why my mother, gave me my 12th birthday party, because that was her way of initiating me that I am now crossed over. See, we did it at 12, because 13,
Mm-hmm.
12 years old, I was 12 years old. And I just remember laying in the bed in the dark and seeing movement. And they were all surrounding my bed, coming in and out of my closet. That's why this closet here in our bedroom bothers me. But there's nothing I can do about that, because that's something that I need to deal with, because there is nothing to be afraid of. It's just is. It's just an emotion that, throughout all the rituals of horror movies and all that, that's what they want you to feel, is that fear. But ultimately, there's no reason to be fearful, right?
All right.
And they understand. They understand, And all kinds of things do be in the dark. The dark itself doesn't bother me.
Exactly.
It's what I can see
exactly.
in the dark.
In the dark.
And so at 12 years old, I was laying in the bed, and I just remember I used to sleep under the covers, and I just remember popping out and looking around. I just kept feeling a presence around me. So when I'm lying there and I'm looking around, I could just see movement. That's where shadow people come in. I could see walking in and out of my closet, around my bed. And it scared the bejesus out of me so much, I got up and cut my light on in my closet. And I had a red light in my closet. So I cut that on. And from that time on, I slept with some form of a night light on, right? So through my growing and continual learning, I found out and heard that a lot of people actually talk about that and experience that. And those are, most of the time, your galactic family watching you, looking at you, interacting with you. And they know that you're scared. That's why they won't take complete solid form. So as you continue to grow though, you have to get past that. So when you close your eyes at night and you see these figures of faces and things, and you think in your mind, and you're like, oh, I done fell asleep that quick. It was some wicked stuff. That's your galactic family. So if you felt they was wicked, that's what you really look like. Okay? You don't look like this right here, because there is a veil over your eyes, over everybody's eyes. Because if we really saw what we look like, as our sons say, look at your shadow. It's really what you look like. Okay? So, there's been times where, more so now, that when I close my eyes and and I do see these faces. I see these faces coming in and out, I used to tell you when we first met, I would say, well, it's time for me to go and pick tulips.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer pick tulips anymore. Either I go into straight darkness and I just wake back up, which means I died, and I just wake back up, or I actually go other places, other lives. And they are so vivid to me now. It's like, with my understanding that I have now, it's like amazing to me. From going to Uranus, it's amazing to me. So when I look at these things and look at, my family members, and look at how I was already one way and they wanted me to conform and be their way, and that's our battle. It's interesting. None of my children show any signs of consciousness on that level of even asking a question. I came asking questions. Well, who is God? Well, where is Jesus? And why we have to do this so long? And I'm hungry.
Right.
Well, why come I can't get baptized? Why not? Did you get baptized? Well, why you won't let me get baptized? Those were rituals that both my mother and father both held down. No. If those things happen to you, those are going to be things that you chose that will happen to you. But we're not doing it. Okay? So, the whole thing was people coming up on consciousness. And, I used to think that consciousness meant that, we're going to do some, deep prayer and meditation and become a vegan and eat rice noodles and all of this. But it's more to it than what we even know. Everybody's thought is being disrupted. But for me, my thought is homing in. And the disruption for me was that we've been indoctrinated so heavy is that I don't want to do the wrong thing, because nobody in my family is doing, talking, saying anything that I'm talking and saying. And you know how many family members I got? I mean, like all over. I'm the only one. The only one. No one asked me questions. No one entertained anything. It's just me. So in my journey of becoming back into remembrance, I only have you and my intimate family within my household. Other than that, my family thinks that, I'm off the Richter. My biological father, though, he kind of just looks. I think he has some reservations, but he does entertain what I speak to him, and he looks at me, and he doesn't bat anything down. He just because he's indoctrinated. But he does entertain the thought. He does entertain the thought. He doesn't like to be called a reverend, minister, preacher, any of those indoctrinated names. He likes